I have been feeling like a loser lately. And before you say, Lib, stop being so hard on yourself, give me a minute. Let me walk you through it. I got scammed out of $800. My credit score dropped by what amounts to the size of a small child. I gained 10 pounds in 2 weeks. And my dating life is non existent. I am pretty much married to my laptop. So, yeah, this here life update may not be the usual upbeat chat we typically have, but I know you want the tea. So, buckle in and let's get all up in my business, shall we? If you are new here, I am sorry that this is how you're being introduced to me. Actually, you know what? I take that back. This is exactly how you should be introduced to me as someone who keeps it real, even when things are not going well. In general, I'm on a lifelong journey of self mastery, and I am insistent on living this one and only life to the fullest. And along the way, I share with you guys what's working, what's not working, in the hopes that it helps you live your one and only life to the fullest as well. And today, it's a what's not working kind of day, okay? I'll be honest, I almost did not record a life update this month because I just have not been feeling great about where I am in life right now. But last week before last, I probably sent the most vulnerable newsletter I have ever sent, basically admitting that I feel like I'm failing at almost everything. And a bunch of people responded and said, thank you for providing a safe space to say the things that we don't really get to say out loud or things that we're afraid to say to one another. So, yeah, let's get to it. Okay, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the money stuff because that's the hardest stuff to share. Like that's what really sent me over the edge. I was already feeling kind of meh, just blah. Okay, this is my daughter's cat, Milo. Milo, thank you. Move out the way. I was already feeling kind of blah all of August, like all of August, just feeling blah because everything that I'm working on is just taking forever. I felt myself slipping into blah mode July and then definitely August. And I think part of it is because I I think part of it I know part of it was because a lot of the things that I was working on are things that take a long time to be complete or to see results. And so I was getting pretty much no immediate, instant, or even medium term gratification. Like everything is like a long term investment of my time with not a quick investment or a quick return on that time. So it was tough to continue to be motivated and to feel like I was being productive. And now that I'm thinking aloud and saying July and August, I think the other piece was I made a commitment to not spend extra money on travel, on clothes, on eating out, on things like that, because I'm so focused on getting out of debt. And July and August, that's summer. And summer is fun as heck in the US. And so I missed out on a lot of festivals. I missed out on a lot of travel across the US and even outside, abroad. A lot of people were in Paris for the summer. A lot of people were living their best European summer life. And I'm just sitting here in my house watching it on Instagram. And so I think that also and so I think that also contributed to being in blah mode, you know. It was rough, y'all. It was rough. But what really set me over the edge was a couple things. This happened. One, I got scammed out of $800. And I'm very embarrassed to share this. Like I almost didn't share. I had an internal debate on whether or not I should share this with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all this scam story. I'm gonna tell y'all this story about how I got scammed. And I want y'all to know I haven't told anybody else this. I am telling you, the viewers on YouTube. It's not in my newsletter. It's not on my Instagram. Hell, I didn't even tell my best friends. I'm telling y'all though. So here you go. Here it go. Because it's actually pretty friggin' embarrassing. Um, but that's how scammers get over, right? People feel so stupid about it and they feel so embarrassed that they don't tell anybody. And then other people become susceptible to scams as well. I got scammed out of $800 and I consider myself a pretty smart person. Let me tell you what happened. What had happened was I happened to pop on Facebook and I saw that one of my friends who I know personally, who lives in my city, in my hometown, and teaches at the college I went to, that we went to, was selling a car similar to mine, an older version, but similar to mine. And I was like, oh, My car is about to be paid off and she's selling this car for a steal and my nephew needs a car. Go with me now. I was like, I could buy this car, give it to my daughter, and then my nephew can have my daughter's car. It was super cheap. It was like, I can't even remember how much it was, but it was super, super cheap. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Now, mind you, my daughter doesn't necessarily need a car. I mean, her car might last another 2 years. We'll see. But she doesn't necessarily need a car, but my nephew needed a car. And so I was like, oh, I could spend not a lot of money to get her a car that's going to last her a lot longer. And then my nephew can just have her car. So I messaged her on Facebook and she was like, yeah, we're selling the car. She was like, I'm out of town right now. But you can put a $800 deposit on it to hold it. And I'll, give it back to you if you decide not to get it. But, I'd rather put the hold on it. And I was like, okay, girl, that's fine. And she said she was traveling. She was out of the country, which makes sense. She runs trips to Ghana on a regular basis. So like none of this seemed outlandish. That didn't seem outlandish to me. She was like, I'll be back in town next week. And I said, oh, well, can I take it to get an inspection when I get back to town? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. Because if I buy a used car, I always get it inspected before I buy it. Gave me her Zelle and was like, just send me $800 and I'll hold it. I think I text her and she was like, oh my bad. My number changed and gave me a new number. Now, thinking back, that was a red flag, but in the moment it wasn't, right? People change numbers, it happens. So I text her just to confirm it was her. And then she sent me the Zelle. And yeah, I sent her $800. And then I saw another post and the post said that she was cleaning out her mother-in-law's house and selling stuff. And as I'm going through the pictures, it's a whole bunch of stuff that don't make sense. Like it's 2 or 3 different types of stoves. And one is a gas stove and one is an electric stove. Who the hell has a gas stove and an electric stove? Then it was a dog pen, a 4-wheeler. It was a lot. Like it was a lot of random stuff. And I was like, this don't seem right. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I live in Tallahassee. So like having a 4-wheeler isn't crazy. Like this is South Georgia, basically. So having a 4-wheeler isn't crazy. But what was crazy is it was like multiple refrigerators and multiple types of stoves. And I don't care how big your house is, you don't really have more than one stove, nor do you have more than one type of stove. And so I sent another message and was like, hey, is this real? I was like, hey, something seems strange about this post. And the person basically blocked me. And then she texted me and told me that she got hacked. And of course, I go straight to my bank first to see if I can cancel this Zelle payment. But of course, you cannot. And so I got scammed out of $800 and I feel really, really embarrassed about it. I was beating myself up because like I was thinking about all the things that I should have done differently. And a couple things I realized, a couple of things I want to call out here. One, this happened because I was stepping outside of what I said I would do. I said I would not spend extra money. I'm buying a car for what? My daughter doesn't need a car. What are we doing here, Libria? If I had been sticking to the rules that I set for myself, the rules of engagement that I set for myself, this wouldn't even be on my radar. Because again, this is spending extra money that could have gone towards paying down debt, which is my focus right now. The second thing is, I typically don't make large purchases quickly. If it's over a certain amount, I give it a few days to think about it. And I did this. This all happened in the matter of like 10 minutes. Who buys a car in 10 minutes? Like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? I was moving way too fast and I did not give myself enough time to pay attention to what was happening. Pay attention to the things that like immediately after I'm like, oh, this is a clear red flag. I definitely should have known that. So those things are on me. I think the frustrating part is whenever people are scammed, we start thinking about our own responsibility in this. And the truth is, like, I'm not the bad person here. I'm not the one stealing $800 from people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to share this because I've gotten past the blaming myself part. I've made some mistakes. I've forgiven myself for those mistakes. But it does suck and it's embarrassing. It really is. It really is. I consider myself to be a smart person. And if I heard someone else tell this story, I'd be like, girl, why didn't you, or girl, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're watching this and listening to this thinking, girl, why would you know what I'm saying? But it's so wild how quickly and easily stuff like this happens to people. So yes, I got scammed out of $800. So the other thing that happened that like, I think this was like the straw that broke the horse's back for me and had me like in a bit of a micro depression in August. I am working hard to get out of debt and I am prioritizing paying off the most expensive debt. My second priority is paying off debt that will positively impact my credit score because I'm trying to boost my credit score, get my credit score to go up. And I've been working really hard all year on this because I want to buy real estate. I want to buy more investment properties and I need good credit to do that, right? My credit score has been going up and up almost every month this year. It has been going up. Even if it's just 2 points. Like sometimes it goes up 10 points, sometimes it goes up 2 points, sometimes it goes up 1 point, whatever. So I get this notification. I think it's going to be good because I just paid a significant portion of one of my credit card balances down. So the utilization is, significantly down. I look at the notification. My credit score dropped 80 points. 80 points. Devastation. I wanted to actually give up because like, what is the point? What is the point of the work that I'm doing if in 5 minutes you can undo all of the progress that I made this year and set me back further than I was when I started? Because I didn't grow 80 points this year. I probably grew maybe 25 to 30 points or something this year. And you just took me back 80 of those points. Like I wasn't even in the moment. I wasn't even just mad. I was like tired, like exhausted. Like I've been trying to push this boulder up this hill and someone was like snatched and just gave me a bigger one. Or somebody like pushed me back down the hill. I don't know how to describe this. It was depressing. It was a huge hit like to my actual score, but it was also a huge hit to my motivation. I've been working so hard on this. So the reason my credit score dropped was an old collection got placed on my credit score. It was a medical debt. It was old. I had not seen it. It fell off my radar, basically. I move around a lot, so it's possible that it got just kind of lost in the mail. Either it's in Tulsa or it's at my virtual mailbox or who knows, whatever the case may be. It was just $450. I remember that day I like went and just laid on the couch and was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to have no meetings. I just want to lay on the couch and watch TV. I didn't work out. Like I was like, what is going on? Because the other thing is all of the things that were my main focus were just backsliding. So I have 3 main focuses this year: finances, fitness, and style. And if you've watched any of my videos, child, I've been backslid on the style situation. I'm either in workout clothes, like I'm back to like throwing some curly hair on my head, like I haven't switched up my style and like committed to anything in a while. And I realize part of that is because it's not necessarily conducive to that first goal, which is getting out of debt. Like I cannot spend money on new clothes and hair and all that stuff. So anyway, it was just, that was a day where I was like, I felt like I just can't win. And then the other thing that went crazy was my fitness. I made so much progress. I got into 169 and y'all, somehow I got all the way back to 180. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? So what had happened was, once again, what had happened was I went to Tulsa for a week and I felt like I was doing well. I felt like I was doing really well. I skipped a workout one day. I went to a happy hour and had a couple of drinks. I went out to eat with some friends and I ate, like I said, I like to say but basically off plan. And it just felt like these were small things. Like it didn't feel like I was off the rails. But when I look back and I add that stuff up, it's like spending $3 on Monday and $5 on Tuesday, and then $15 on Wednesday. And in those moments, you're like, oh, I'm not spending a lot. But by the end of the week, you realize you spent like $200, right? So that was a huge backslide. Now, I will say about 4 of those pounds were hormonal because, once a month I gain about 4 pounds. So let's call it 176. But it was still, back to where I was at the fitness retreat. So it was just frustrating. And I'm also frustrated that I started the quest to get hormone replacement therapy 2 years ago, and I still don't have it. Like, for whatever reason, there's a lot of I'm just frustrated that I have no real answers. I've done blood work 3 times and have no real answers about whether or not I need hormone replacement therapy, how I'm going to get it, any of that. And some of it's just because I travel a lot. I got tests done in January and then commits to leaving the country for 4 whole months. So I couldn't use those tests. Got back to the US, took a test, and I can't see the doctor until October. And what's wild to me, I took the test in July and I can't see the doctor until October about that test. I don't understand why I need to go see her to talk about the test. Why can't she just get on the phone with me and explain to me, okay, based on these results, I would like for you to do XYZ. And then when I come in, I'm coming in for treatment. So that is the thing that pisses me off about the medical system. I don't need to take off work, get dressed, and have to drive to your office and pay a copay just to talk about some results. We could do that on the phone, or you could email me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I come there, you need to be doing something, baby. Anyway, I'm super, super frustrated about the whole HRT thing. So from a fitness and health perspective, I'm just frustrated. I'm frustrated. And I'm not a victim here. Like, a lot of this are decisions that I made. All of these are decisions that I made for the most part. But I am upset at the circumstances I find myself in. And I feel, I don't know, like I'm just failing at reaching these goals. And then the other thing that I mentioned was like relationships. Child, what relationships? What's relationships? As far as dating life goes, part of that is on me. Like, I'm not necessarily trying. So I get on the dating apps. I was talking to a guy for a little while, but he started wearing me out with them good morning, beautiful texts every day. Who told men that that's what we wanted? We were having some good conversations. I was looking forward to meeting him when I go to Atlanta. But I just started losing interest when it was always good morning, beautiful. And I felt like I kept having to push him to the next step. So for instance, we're texting in the app and I said something like, so how do we get off this app? And so he asked me for my phone number. And then he starts sending good morning texts. And I said, how do we get past this? And so then he starts calling me. And so we start having conversations. And then I was like, I don't know what I said. I said something about like, how do we move this forward? And he was like, oh, can I take you on a date? When are you going to be? Like, let's go ahead and plan a date. And so I just hated the fact that to move past every step, I had to project manage it. And I didn't want to do that. So that didn't work out. And then the other piece is like, I just don't have a crew here in Tallahassee. So most of the time I'm either at the gym or at home, and that's it. And so it's been really, really tough. It's tough being in an environment where I know a lot of people, but I don't have a lot of friends. And so I don't do much when I'm here. I'm an extrovert. I'm an extreme extrovert. I get energy from being around people, and I don't find myself around a lot of people when I'm in Tallahassee, unfortunately. So y'all, it's been rough. Like, this is not like the oh my God, my life is great update. This is what the hell is happening in my life update. But yeah, all that to say, I spent most of August being sad as hell. Like, sad. But it's September now. It's my birthday month. It's time to lock in. Time to switch it up. I had to switch it up because August, I was sad. I was down. But I woke up September 1st ready to switch things up and take control again of my life, of my feelings, and more importantly, of my actions. I don't know if it was because September 1st was a Monday and the first of the month, and maybe because it was my birthday month, but I really woke up September 1st like, you know what? It's time for me to stop sulking, stop sitting in this sadness. I felt my feelings. I did feel my feelings. I let my feelings flow. But September 1st, I woke up like, okay, so what we about to do about it, sis? And coincidentally, apparently all of social media felt the same way because I started to see this huge trend called the Great Lock-in, where people are saying we're going to lock in from September 1st to December 31st. We got 4 months to really crush our big goals for the year. And I was like, now this is a trend I can jump on. This is a trend I can clock. Let's do it. This feels positive. This feels right. I love the energy around it. It doesn't feel like hustle culture, but it's also not like, oh God, 2025 should be over already. It's not us being whiny either. It's really like, hey, from September 1st to September 31st, we have 4 months until the end of the year. Let's go ahead and pick a few of our big goals and just lock in on them because we still have time. Let's re-energize, let's recommit, and let's get it done. I love this energy. And so this is a trend I can hop on, especially since it just perfectly aligned with how I woke up feeling on September 1st. So let me tell you what your girl is locking in on for the next 4 months. And they mostly align with my big goals for the year at the beginning of the year. So my main focus for this year is finances. I am locking in on my finances and specifically paying off $40,000 in debt. I am locking in on fitness. I got to get these pounds off, man. I got to get to my goal weight or at least start back trending towards it. And then the third thing I'm locking in on is Spanish. So at the beginning of this year, I said my 3 main things that I am trying to reinvent this year was fitness, finances, and my personal style. I have decided to let the personal style part go as a main focus because, again, it's counterintuitive to trying to pay off debt and focus my money there. So I have shifted that to Spanish fluency. So the 3 things that I am locking in on for the rest of this year are finances, fitness, and my Spanish fluency. Let me tell you how I'm going to do that. Let's start with finances. I started this month about $60,000 in debt, I want to say. I think it was like 55, maybe 60,000. And I've been slowly paying that off throughout the year. And I'm doing a couple of things. One, earlier this year, I let Gabby Patrice Thomas, that's my ChatGPT's name. I let Gabby put together my debt payoff strategy. I am actually planning to use the money that I get from brand partnerships to pay off debt. Like I'm getting enough to pay off almost all of my debt with just brand partnerships, which I'm very, very grateful for. I'm thankful for. I'm glad that I have that as an income stream so that I can use that to help me get out of debt, which is amazing. But I let Gabby put together a strategy for me. We had to work because Gabby was making some mistakes and doing some things that made no sense, but we came to something that actually worked for me. And she basically put together a strategy that prioritizes paying off the most expensive debt. And my second priority is impacting my credit score. And so I've been slowly paying that down. And now it's about to be accelerated because I have most of my brand partnership payments coming out this part of the year. So I will do a separate video just walking you through what I did with Gabby Patrice Thomas, also known as ChatGPT, to build out a debt pay down strategy. So I'll do a separate video on that. If that's something that you want, let me know in the comments. Breaking in here because I forgot to mention something. So like the lighting's different, the background's different. I even got on a different shirt. But I wanted to come back and add to what I said I was going to be locking in on for finances as well. The other thing I'm locking in on for finances is I am looking for a new job. So if you remember, I lost my job in September and was traveling and living my best life and was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to get another job. But my old boss convinced me to come work with him. I agreed to it because A, he supports my lifestyle. So if I want to travel, he's got no issues with it. It's a remote company. B, it's pretty easy work. And even he said you could still do all your side hustles and still, do this work. And it was 6 figures still. And I needed health insurance for my daughter and for myself. I am a raging asthmatic. Anyway, took the job. And now having been in the role for a few months, I'm concerned a little bit about the culture. I am also realizing that even though it's easy work, and it's pretty straightforward, if I'm going to show up for work, I want to get compensated well for it. And I am making more than 50% less than I was making before. More than 50% less. And I keep being told that, because our commissions are uncapped, that I could still, make more money. But one of our salespeople who's been here for like 5 years, I asked how much he made in his best year, and the amount that he made in his best year was still less than my base salary before. Before I was getting base plus commissions, it was still less than my base salary. And so it's time to do something else. So I am locking in on looking for another job. And September's a great time to do that because of what is called the September surge. It happens to be one of the most active hiring seasons of the year. And so while the job market isn't great overall, it is still going to be more active in the fall. The September surge goes from about September to late November. People are trying to get folks hired before they go away for the holidays and before the year ends is basically what it boils down to. And so I'm about to lock in, and I also created a strategy guide. If you are trying to lock in as well, I created this week by week action plan that I am also following that you can purchase for less than $30. I think it's $27. I will put the link below and the link up here as well for you to grab it. And what I'm going to do is, I think it's important to have accountability partners. And I think working sessions are really, really good for mirroring and things like that, because people just don't set aside time to do things they just don't want to do. And applying for jobs sucks. Nobody wants to do it. That said, the first 25 people that purchase, you will get an invite to a co-working session Saturday, September 13th at 10 o'clock a.m. We are going to get on a call together. We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to mirror and sit down and apply for jobs. You can ask me questions. We can ask each other questions. We can just talk about what we're looking for. And if one of us sees something that be good for someone else, we can share that. That working session is going to be 2 hours long, and it's completely free if you are one of the first 25 people to purchase. All right. Again, link is in the description box, and I will link it up here as well. Can't believe I forgot to say this in the first recording of the video, but we're here now, and I didn't want you to miss out on the September surge strategy guide, but I also didn't want to miss out on telling you guys that I am in the job market as well. So I'm right here with you, boo. I'm right here with you, but we locked in. Let's move on to Spanish. Español. Quiero hablar español con fluidez. I want to speak Spanish fluidly or with fluency. And I've been talking about this for so long. I'm actually really tired of hearing myself talk about how I want to be fluent in Spanish. In fact, I found a book. Where is it? I found a book. Hold on. So I found this book that I wrote, this journal that I had in college. This was my freshman year in college, I want to say. And one of the things that we had to do, this was for class. One of the things, this was not my freshman year. This might've been my junior year. But anyway, one of the things that we had to do in this class was write down 50 things to do before I die. And one of those things, and this was on March 20th, 2001. One of those things I wrote was learn the following language: Spanish, French, Japanese, and Italian. I am behind. And I've been talking about learning Spanish since 2001, y'all, 20 years. What am I doing? At some point, I was like, well, what does it mean to me to be fluent? I need to define what that is, because I feel like I'm chasing this goal and I don't know how to work towards it or check the box to say that I'm there. And so I decided what I want to do is make it to maybe C2 level in a actual certification for Spanish. And so I found the DELE Spanish exam, and I'm going to be taking level A2 at the end of this year. That was one of the goals that I set for 2025 at the beginning of the year. But I've been slacking. I don't even know how to say slacking in Spanish, but he sido perezoso. I've been lazy. He sido perezoso. Here's what I'm going to do to lock in on Spanish for the end of the year. One, I have created a weekly Spanish plan. So I know exactly what I'm going to be doing on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Sundays, I have the day off from Spanish, but I need to do something every single day. And that weekly plan hits on all of the things that I need to do. I need to read, write, listen, and speak Spanish. So that weekly plan hits on all those, and I need to practice vocab. So on Mondays, I have to practice 200 verbs and conjugate those verbs. And then on Tuesdays, I'm doing work en mi libro de trabajo, in my workbook. And then on Wednesdays, I read a Spanish story. So I bought this book. These are young adult stories. So they're not children's stories, but they are easy to understand. This is maybe something we would have read in maybe middle school or fifth grade or something like that. And I am restarting lessons with my tutor, but I am redirecting how we do those lessons because I feel like the lessons were a bit scattered before. So what I'm doing is I'm giving her the work that I'm doing in my book, and I'm also sending her a video of me reading a story so that we can talk about my pronunciation and we can go over the work that I did. And I want part of our lesson to just be conversational because I need to practice conversation. So I have a plan. I'm a woman with a plan. Necesito trabajar la plan, pero tengo un plan. Oh, and then the other thing that I'm doing is taking practice tests every week. The good thing is the organization that does and administers the tests and the certification, they also have practice tests. And so I can take the practice tests every week or take a portion of the practice tests every week and figure out, where are my strong places and where am I weak and where do I need to work. I just took a practice test last week and I made a 90. Yeah, I made a 90. I got 1 out of 10 wrong. That's a 90, right? Yeah, I got 1 out of 10 wrong. I made a 90. Go me. Entonces, esta es español. I'm locked in. I don't know how to say that in Spanish, but I'm locked in. All right. And the last thing that I am locking in on is fitness. I be up in the gym, just working on my fitness. She my witness. The frustrating thing is I know exactly what I should be doing. And I've been doing it so well this year. And I've been seeing results. The frustrating thing is you can fall off for 2 weeks, or you can, miss the mark for a short amount of time and undo a long amount of time of work. 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks of messing around and messing up, and you just undid 6 months of work. So that is the frustrating thing. But anyway, I am committed to 100 days of activity. I'm going to be moving my body for at least 100 days. That could just mean taking a walk. Like, I'm not by any means saying that I'm gonna be in the gym lifting weights every single day for 100 days. That is, first of all, not reasonable, not healthy, and just not sustainable. But even if it's just, take a quick walk or do some yoga or some stretching, I am going to move my body for 100 days. I am committed to that. But I actually have non-negotiables when it comes to fitness. I have to lift weights for at least 3 days, at the very least. That's like bare minimum. I prefer to lift weights 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week. But 3 is bare minimum. 3 is like, girl, I'm trying to be patient with you. This is your warning. Get it together. And I have to walk at least 4. Those are my non-negotiables. I have to walk at least 4 times a week, and I have to lift weights at least 3 times a week. I love lifting weights. I really do. I've been lifting weights since I was like 18 years old. I love lifting weights. It's weird because the challenging part is I always feel better after a workout. The challenge is like getting dressed and going to the gym. Like, once I'm in the gym, the workout part comes easy and I feel amazing afterwards. It's just, getting out that comfortable bed, putting on clothes, leaving the house. Anyway, 100 days locked in. I also am really working on letting go of like this need for immediate results and to lose weight fast and like hit a certain weight before my birthday or slim down before homecoming. I mean, FAMU homecoming around the corner. I do want to look good at homecoming. I really do. I really, really do. But I think what's reasonable and what feels good to me, what feels doable and sustainable to me is keeping a good pace so that I lose a pound a week. 17 weeks in the year. Let's take away 2 weeks for holidays. By the end of the year, I should lose 15 pounds and be at my goal weight. And so it's really like a, slow and steady. This is also one of the places where it's just like the thought process needs to shift to, this is just my lifestyle. And losing weight is a byproduct. Being in good shape is a byproduct of my lifestyle. So working on that. It's tough because I want to look good at homecoming. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, move on. So I think in any kind of challenge like this, when you're trying to hit goals, I think there has to be tracking and accountability. I think stuff like this works if you track it and if you are accountable. And so you guys already know that I track my progress in multiple ways, and especially when I do weekly reviews and monthly reviews in my Notion template. But the way I plan to hold myself accountable, besides just tracking, is I am going to launch a little series. So a lot of content creators have been doing signature series and doing these cute little series and having episode 1 and episode 2. And I just have not dove into the series. I think this is a perfect opportunity to launch a series. So it's going to be locked in with Lib. And every week I'm going to share what I'm doing and where I am with this lock in. So I hope you lock in and subscribe so that you get notified when I post those videos. I'll be posting them in short form here on YouTube and on Instagram if you're not following me over there. That's what I'm doing. I'm locking in. I'm glad that I'm over the hump of being in a bit of a malaise and what I'll call a micro depression. I'm also glad I gave myself the space to just experience that and didn't try to yank myself out or logic my way out of it or action plan or you got this girl myself out of it. I needed the time. I needed to just be sad and move slow. And I feel like a lot came out of that. Like I realized a lot of things, a lot of feelings that I had that I'd been ignoring, and a lot of things that I do and don't want in my life. So yeah, our negative feelings and our negative experiences are also necessary. They're necessary parts of our lives. Like we've been giving this comprehensive toolkit of emotions to navigate being human. And it's important that we use the whole toolkit. It just is, right? Yeah, all the tools are necessary. Anyway, real quick, what else I'm looking forward to in the month of September? I am very much looking forward to going to my friend's wedding in Hawaii. I'm going to a wedding mid-September for my friends that were previously my coworkers. Actually, and it is plural. Like 2 of my ex-coworkers are marrying each other. They met at work. So these were my coworkers. They are my friends, and they're getting married in Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. Never actually wanted to go. I mean, I want to go in that I want to go everywhere, but it's been low on my list. I live in Florida. We got all these islands right here, like down the street. Why would I pay so much money and fly for so long to go to an island when there's so many islands right here in Florida? So I'm glad they're dragging me to Hawaii and giving me a reason to finally visit Hawaii. I'm sure I will love it. I'm also looking forward to my birthday. My birthday's this month. I'm turning 47 years old. I know in previous videos, I've been saying I'm 47. I think when you get a certain age, like it's hard to keep up. It's just hard to keep up with how old you are. I am turning 47 in a few weeks and I'm going to Puerto Rico. I actually, for my mother's birthday, I got her a ticket to come to Puerto Rico with me for my birthday. So me and my mom are going to Puerto Rico for my birthday, where I will get to practice my Spanish. Puedo practicar mi español en Puerto Rico. Bueno. I'm also excited about getting back to filming content. If you have not noticed, I've been missing on this here platform. I have also been missing on Instagram and the TikToks. Where I've not been missing is Substack. My newsletter has been popping. It really has. So feel free to subscribe again. There will be a link in the description box. But I'm very excited to get back to filming content. I have noticed that when I start feeling sad and down about myself and all of that, that's when I don't film content. But when I'm feeling good about myself, I want to share things. I want to share what I'm working on, what I'm trying out, what I'm learning. Like I am so much more into creating content when I'm feeling good about myself. And so this is a good indication. The fact that I'm excited about creating content is a really, really good indication of where I am emotionally as well. I know I'm not the only content creator that feels that way. But yeah, I'm very excited about sharing more content. So be sure to, again, subscribe and turn on alerts so that you get notified when I post more content here, because I have a lot of built up things that I've been wanting to share with you guys. So I've got a lot of content coming out. So again, subscribe, turn on alerts, and thanks for hanging out with your girl. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me for my life updates and listening to me ramble on about my life. I appreciate even more when you share parts of your life in the comments as well. So I will see you in the next video. Have a great September. Lock in.